I became a did it one day.
All right, here we go. So, this entire chapter is on apportionment. Okay, so representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among several states, which may include within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons.
He left, right?
I don't actually know where they got that quote from. You know, one of those random history things. No offense. This is why I hate history. Sorry, Zelman. Yeah, I don't. Okay. So, those of you that like history may love this chapter. This is probably why I don't like this chapter. History for me was a snooze fest. I can't. Okay. Put your desk outside, little rude girl. I'm gonna call her like my daughter, little rude girl. So, apportionment is dividing or sharing items based on additional information. Okay. So it's not going to be as easy as, oh, I've got 12 pieces, and if I'm splitting it between 4 people, that means each person gets
5. Each person gets 5.
So we're going to base what they get off of something else. So for instance, your electoral college is based off of the population of each state, which is why your bigger and more populated states get more seats. Okay, questions?
No.
All right, let's take a look at some of these. So Mrs. Phillips has 50 identical pieces of chocolate, which she is planning to divide amongst her 5 children. She wants to do this fairly. You have 50 pieces of chocolate and you're giving them out to 5 children. You would think each child gets 10.
No, the
Okay. 50 pieces divided by the 5 children. Whoops. Spell today. So that's 10 pieces per child. Okay. 10 pieces per child. Okay. To teach her children a lesson, though, about hard work, she decides to give her children candy based on how much time they worked doing chores in the next week. Okay.
Wait, this is not a teacher? Oh, she just has 5 children?
No, she just has 5 children.
Oh,
Yeah. There are families.
My mama had 13.
Yeah.
oh.
Damn.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Okay.
She was
It happens. Okay, so it shows you how many minutes each child worked doing chores. So child 1 has 150 minutes, child 2 is 78, child 3 is 173. Of these children, who would get the most chocolate?
Child 5.
Why?
They
They work the most. So
But
who
how
should
would
get
you-
the least?
So how would you divide
Child
it?
2.
Okay, child 2 would get the least.
That means like,
We need to figure out how much chocolate each child gets.
Okay. that's kind of
Okay,
hard.
so first I need to figure out what percentage of the time did each child work.
Ooh,
So
you
to
add 'em
find
all?
percentage, it's part divided by what? How do I find a percentage?
You
Oh,
add them all up and then you divide them by 5.
so no, we're not going to divide by 5, but I agree with the add them all up. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to get a total of the minutes that have been worked.
Yep.
Okay, between all of the children, how many total minutes did they work?
900 even.
900 even.
Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, I set my notes down over here and he's copying them. killing me. He's like, exactly, Miss Smith. I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so child 1 worked 150 out of 900 minutes. So the first thing you've got to do is divide that by 900.
Like
It's 0.1666.
From that number, I need you to hit times 50. And what do we get?
8.333.
8.333.
So that's how many pieces
Okay.
of chocolate you
So, yes, that's exactly what that number represents. So, they worked 150 out of 900 minutes, and then we multiply that by how much chocolate we can give out. So, they get a portion of the 50 pieces. The portion that they get is 8.333.
Dang, if that's 150, I feel bad for child number 2.
Okay? So, you said you feel bad for child number 2 because that 8.333 is going to drop lower.
To like a 1 point something.
4.33.
So, again, whoops, not 500. Again, divide by the total times how many pieces are available. Bless you. 4.333. Well, dang. They lost 4 pieces of chocolate because their work cut almost in half. Child number 3 then. $9.611. Should child 4 be higher than 9.6 or lower?
Higher.
Higher. Okay, so keep that in mind. If their population is bigger, their chocolate pieces should be more. 11.333.
I was about to ask how you do this.
And the last one, and again, these numbers should kind of go in order with their total populations. So the one that has the lowest should have the least amount of chocolate. The one that worked the most should have the most amount of chocolate. And then what falls in between?
So if you add these up, they equal exactly 50?
It should. Now, with rounding, it can cause a little bit of issues. Okay, so you might get like 50.14. It's close enough to 50. But if you add all these up, it should total out to be 50 because you're only giving away 50 pieces. So what you're giving away to each individual person should always equal what you're giving away. Okay. How many minutes of chores would a child need to do to earn 1 piece of chocolate? How'd you get that?
Your paper.
I agree, it's 18. 18 minutes,
18 minutes?
yes, per piece of chocolate.
Could you do?
Could you show us how you got it?
No, hold up. No, I'm trying to think about it. She got it. I would-
Think about how I got 10 pieces per child.
Could you do 78 divided by 4.333? Is that what you do? No.
900 divided by 50.
No, you can do 150 divided by 8.23.
That's the difference.
Does it work?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, that's literally what I just said though.
It's 900 about 6.
Does it work?
18.
Plug it in. 150 divided by 8.333. Plug in 78 divided by 4.333.
That's it.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works.
Ooh, look at that. Okay, that works.
Did you just?
I was going with, I didn't think about that approach.
Like,
Okay.
you've been teaching this for the past 3 years. That's your
I
first
never
time.
thought about it, no.
What?
What?
Never thought about it.
You should get extra points on his quiz. for
Okay.
figuring that out for you.
So, think about it. You've got 900 minutes available. And in 900 minutes, we're giving out all of the chocolate.
That's what, yeah, that would give you 18.
This also gives you 18. Okay, so just like we did up there, your total amount of chocolate divided by the children gives you how many pieces per child. The total minutes divided by the pieces tells you how many minutes per piece. Okay. Question.
Well, I mean, you can use both ways.
It would work.
No, the only
I never thought about that way though.
the only way that you wouldn't be able to use the way that I said is if they didn't give you if you haven't worked out the problem yet. So then you would have to do the
If I didn't give you this.
yeah, then you would have to do the 900 and the 50.
Wow.
Listen, you learn something new every day. I like when you all stay in my mind as well. Listen, I am human. I learn new things every day too.
That's crazy.
It's wonderful. I love to learn. Okay? Dr. Williams has 60 blank DVDs to give to 4 students in class. Don't laugh at me. Blank DVDs used to be a big thing back in my day. Okay? We didn't have Spotify, Pandora. We actually had to download music and burn it to a CD or a DVD to play it.
I know.
Okay? So, they make fun of me every year for this. So, if I have 60 blank DVDs and 4 students in the class, each student fairly should walk away with 15.
15.
Okay? 15 DVDs per child.
Pretty good test for you.
Yeah, not chapter 2s. Maybe chapter 1s. Okay. So, instead of just giving everybody the same amount of DVDs, Dr. Williams says, I'm going to give them out based on the test scores. So, child 1 had a test score of 85, child 2, 88, child 3, 92, child 4, 95. These are pretty good test scores.
Total.
Okay? I need a grand total. What is the total points that the 4 earned? 360.
It's 300? 360?
Oh, I already have that.
360. Yeah.
Okay, so child 1 got 85 out of 360. What am I then going to multiply that by to figure out how many DVDs they get?
15.
60.
60.
60.
Oh, you got 60 blank DVDs. That's right.
What am I giving out?
60 blank.
Oh, yeah.
I have to figure out what part of the DVDs that person gets. So I have to multiply it by the total amount of DVDs. Get 14.16 repeating.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Okay. Child number 2 should be higher or lower.
Higher.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
14.6.
14.6 repeating. So, not much higher, but they did get a little bit more. Child number 3 should be a little bit more higher. You got 15.3 repeating.
Yes.
Okay? And child number 4 should get the most.
Repeat.
You got 15.83, or my paper gave you
I
15.
actually had it.
Okay, good. You actually had to do this one. How many points does a child have to earn on their test to get 1 DVD? 6.
6.
6. Okay. So again, 360 total for the test divided by 60 DVDs, which means I need 6 points per DVD. 6 points per DVD. Try the next one on your own and we'll go over it. A basketball coach is giving out slices of pizza to 3 of his players. Only 3. The rest of the team sucks. You ain't getting no pizza. No pizza for you.
Exactly what I was.
Oh, what do you say?
Just understand, I'm actually up and moving and teaching. It's hard in here.
I'm not losing color, dude, but
Not quite as cold.
Later.
Let me copy all your answers. Say that out loud.
Oh, we got a lot of people.
Means repeating.
Well, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah.
That's actually what we're gonna learn. The rest of the chapter is the different ways that they figured out through history how to round the numbers.
What you got?
Yeah, like a full.
You add that, what's that?
Ain't you recording?
Yes.
Are you recording?
1190.
We need everybody to stop getting sick. Too many absences going on.
I guess you are.
No, not.
Yeah, Alex.
Yes, he just don't let them on.
Don't let me go there.
You said we said.
This is my bubble.
Nice.
Why you come over here to cheat?
Cause I'll make sure I was right.
I divided it.
I'm gonna tell you 3/3.
You do,
It comes out to be a decimal.
you do this, you do
5, 5. Yeah.
10.
You would, if you wanted to, you could do this, divide it
Oh,
like that.
3 divided by 5.
I got it. Yeah.
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 It's the same thing.
And I'm gonna forget all of them on test. Cause I got memory loss.
Like Dory.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, because it's pizza. You can't be splitting my pizza.
Yeah, we can. Called the pizza cutter.
So you want to get from like
Yeah, it's called a pizza cutter.
two
I would know.
But that piece of that chocolate, that's tough out there. Yeah.
That jump be good though.
It'd be good when it's like fresh out the oven.
That's how
hot,
it's
and
supposed to
then
be.
you
You gotta be like, you
Who
gotta,
wants to put this up?
you gotta hold it like this, when the top one's gonna fall off.
I'll do it.
Who wants
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
to- Go!
You doing the whole thing?
I know all the answers.
You know all the answers?
Oh, God. Are you doing one question or all of them?
Uh-huh.
Stop coughing up.
You got different answers.
Don't do the whole thing. You ain't even answered the first question.
I did answer it. It's 22.
Up top.
Up top, y'all.
Answer up there.
4. 4.
Oh,
17.
So I'll divide by 3. But that's not right, bro. You trying to be funny?
no.
Yo, wait, why did you?
He's showing his work.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the 13 divided by 3, isn't it?
Right?
Yes.
12 divided by 3 is 4, yes.
He said 13. That's why everybody was confused.
Player should have 4 slices of pizza.
But he's trying to teach him a lesson about hard work. Yes, sir.
That's it.
He
Laura,
says,
lesson
based
about
on the
skill.
number of free throws they made,
Oh,
10
that.
attempts.
Okay.
Don't worry. Player 3.
5.4.
Oh.
Right on that.
Oh, don't worry. I did that to
Oh.
T-Mac
What's that video
last year
last
too.
year?
Miss Harvey.
5.4.
He was listening. He was like, "You
5.45.
really just burnt me with Miss Harvey in this room." Yes, sir, I did.
That's repeating.
Oh, we got-
5.45 repeating.
Hey, if we don't put that little thing that says repeating,
That's repeating.
all right, good. I ain't gonna put it.
3.81 repeating
That's repeating.
and 2.72 repeating. How many free throws do we have to make per slice?
1.83.
1.83
Yo.
repeating. Okay.
Bam, drop that.
Questions?
No.
Hey, you didn't do the total, sir.
What? You didn't do it.
Okay.
I did.
So, taking a look at this, are there any challenges to sharing items proportionally to all individuals? What is the problem with the answers that we've gotten so far?
Decimals.
They're decimals. I mean, if you look at example 2, we're giving away DVDs. Okay? I'm giving away DVDs.
You won't cut the DVD.
So what? I go, here's your 14, and here's your 0.16. Good luck with that. And then I go to Derek and I say, here's your 14, and here's your 0.6 of a DVD. What good's that? Okay.
0.6 of a DVD.
What are you gonna do with it?
Put 0.6 on the song.
Y'all always have to have some kind of smart remark.
That's right.
I love it.
0.6.
Okay.
What?
So
6.
No, that's back to the first,
You ain't
second
paying
one.
attention.
You can't, when you have something called a discrete object, which is something that you cannot break down, like a DVD, okay? You can't give them part of it. You can't break down discrete objects, okay? So that becomes an issue.
Oh, now we're gonna have to do something to fix that. It's extra.
Put my notes back. Eaters.
I got the rest of the answer now. I can go.
If you just write it off of that, you ain't gonna learn it.
I'll always learn.
That's why
Okay,
you got 24.
Okay. Pass.
I'm bored, already messed up. Okay, there are 3 major things that you need to have an apportionment problem. Okay, so why do I still hear voices when I am talking and I am teaching? Stop. Okay, the first thing you need for an apportionment problem is I need states. Players involved in an apportionment. You should be able to look at a problem and tell me who are the states, who are the players involved. So when you're looking at a problem, you want to ask yourself, who gets? Who is getting in the problem? Or who receives the items? So who gets or who receives the items? The items that they are getting are the seats. Okay, so The formal definition are the indivisible objects to be divided. So these are the items to be shared. Okay, you can ask yourself, what is given? Okay, that will help you to identify your seats. What is given? What are you giving out? Your seats should always be greater than or equal to your states. So if you have 5 people getting items, you have to have at least 5 items to give away. You can't give away 4 because somebody's going to end up with nothing. And that is not fair. So you always have to have enough items for every person to at least get 1. Okay, the last thing, your population. The set number of n positive numbers, which are the basis for the apportionment. Okay, this is how is it given? Or in other words, based on what?
Statistics.
Okay. How am I giving away these items? Is it based on their test scores?
So I got a question.
Yes.
If these words are on the test, can we just put the little questions for the definition?
There are no definitions
Oh, all right.
with these words. I will show you what definitions you're going to have. However, I should be able to give you any problem until you give me the state, seats, and populations, and you should be able to identify them. Okay, so we're going to look at these.
Okay, so the states are like the people, and then the seats are what you're giving away. Okay,
Okay,
and
we're actually going to go back and look at those 3 examples we already did.
Oh.
Okay. Then we'll jump into the word problems. Okay, so first one. Who was giving an example 1?
children.
The children. Okay, so when it's in a table, your states are always what is across the top. So your children are your states. What are we giving the children?
Chocolate candy.
We're giving them chocolate. So this is your seats. We're basing all of this off of what? What are we using to give out the chocolate? The minutes worked. So that is your population.
That's what the population.
Okay, that's your population. So your children are getting chocolate based on how many minutes they've worked.
That's weird.
Okay, child labor.
Oh, it's very weird.
This one, who gets?
Child.
The children again.
Yeah.
This time though, the children are getting what?
CDs.
DVDs. Okay, so your children are your states. Their seats are the DVDs. And they're based on what?
Population.
Test scores.
Test scores. So your population is your test scores.
Grade A for me.
Let me get it right now.
You gonna give that quiz right now?
I
I don't have it printed
You
yet.
gotta keep that job.
She said, keep that junk.
Oh, there's a bunch of other stuff that we haven't really covered.
Last one. Who gets?
Child.
The players. The players are now your state.
Pliers.
What are we giving the players?
Pizza.
Some pizza. Based on
Wait, it's
their free throws.
It's states and seats and
How bad they are.
Yes. States, seats, population. Who gets? What are they getting? how is it being given?
How bad they were.
So kind of like English class when you did the who, what, where, when, how.
Man, teacher only talking about stuff on my bill.
Wait.
Okay,
Never mind.
so you can identify them from a chart now. What if I just give you a word problem?
No,
The four
Okay.
children.
Mr. Gates, you know, that big old millionaire, is giving away $3,500 allowances between his 4 children at the end of each quarter. The children will receive their allowances in proportion to the GPA. So, states, who is getting?
Children.
The children. What are the children getting?
$3,500.
They're getting allowance or money. Okay? Based on what?
Jack PA. Grade point.
You gotta kick it.
He had to be extra.
Come on.
Kick the shit. I'm kicking the shit.
Did I do that?
Listen,
But-
this cane makes it stick.
No, I was good. I didn't do that.
Based on the GPA. Okay, I need you to think about this one because this is where people get stuck. Hello, friends. There are 40 teachers in an elementary school, and the principal plans to apportion teachers to the 5 grade levels, 1 through 5, in the school based on the current enrollment of each grade level. Okay, so we figure out population is enrollment.
And then the teachers.
Teachers are
Our
states.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
What?
The classes.
The grade level.
That's the same thing.
Okay, so your key word here is going to be we're apportioning teachers. So that is what we are giving. Whatever you're apportioning is your what. So that is your seats. So your grade levels
Are your states.
are getting teachers based on enrollment. Okay, you think about it. If we lost half of the student population for high school, we're gonna have to cut the staff in half.
That's right.
You don't need all of us if we don't have all of you. Sample 3, there are 75 administrative assistants for the entire college, which has 10 academic departments. Each department will receive assistance based on the number of students that have declared that department as a major.
So
Students is
Population
population.
department.
the seats is assistant.
The population is number of students.
Okay, so states,
That's gonna be
who gets?
The department.
No,
The department.
departments.
Each department. What are they getting?
Assistant.
Assistants.
Yeah.
Based on what?
Number of
Population.
students.
Number of students.
Yep.
The department is getting assistance based on the number of students.
I'm doing this also.
You want to try the last one
Yeah.
by yourself?
City.
Okay.
So the seats are
Always remember too, you have to give out more than what you have in states. Your seats always have to be bigger than your states. You've got to have enough so everybody can at least have one.
Bless you.
Yes.
Corey.
Or, yeah, Corey, yeah. Sorry, Caleb. Oh, God, he's gonna kill me. Your population's right. Everybody gets caught up between city. Your states are not your city. Okay. Your states here were what, Delon? Your routes. Okay. Your routes. That's your smaller number. So that's going to be your states. Because look, we've got 5 and 36. Remember, your states have to be smaller than your seats. So your routes get buses based on the number of passengers. Okay. If I only need 5 people to ride a city bus, am I going to run 7 buses? No. You don't get 1 bus per person. That would be cool, but they're not going to waste all that gas. Okay. So if people stop riding city buses, they're going to start to take bus routes away. They're going to start to diminish their amount of buses that they run to save money.
I can realize, I don't know if I've ever been like that.
Okay. You have 2 major formulas that I need you to 100% know how to do.
Tell me right now.
You need this for every method from here on out. This is your base.
The rest of the year.
Okay, the first one is your standard divisor. Your standard divisor is the ratio of the total population to the seats. What does the word ratio mean? SD. What am I doing if I'm using a ratio?
Something to something, comparing how many people.
Okay, the dots, which can also be written as a fraction. Okay, so you're dividing in this instance. Your standard divisor, you take your total population and you divide it by your number of seats.
That's insane.
The standard divisor represents the number of people that you need to receive 1 seat. Is that really how you say seat in Spanish?
No.
I just figured you were like. So, how many people do you have to get 1 seat? Okay. Or how many people do you need to have 1 representative? Okay. This is what they use. Each state then is given a standard quota. When we went through and we said, child 1 gets 8.33 chocolate pieces. Child 2 gets 4.33 chocolate pieces. Those are your standard quotas. Okay, so to get your standard quotas, you take each state population and you divide it by your standard divisor.
Wait. State file.
Okay, so in other words, I need this before I can get my standard quotas. So if you mess up at the standard divisor part, your standard quotas are wrong and your whole method is wrong. Your entire chapter relies on these 2 formulas.
That's crazy.
You said state total population.
The quota is state divided by standard.
Each state population divided by the standard quota. We're gonna do an example.
She's going.
Boy,
Is it better?
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's going.
do you want these now? Because these examples aren't in here. Because I printed out the wrong teacher.
Yeah.
It's not in here, so. Okay. So, these are big numbers. Okay, so I have 6 states. Okay, and they each have an individual population. The first thing I need to calculate is my standard divisor. You're gonna have to do this with every problem. So again, standard divisor, I need a total population, which is what in this case? 12,500,000. And I need to divide that by the number of seats. What am I dividing by?
250.
250. I'm giving away 250 seats in Congress. What do we get?
Oh no. Let's shout numbers. Let's see now. I got one. It's 50,000.
50,000.
Like I said, I just shout numbers.
You gotta take 3 steps ahead.
Okay, so what this number tells you is for every 50,000 people that your state has, you will get 1 person in Congress.
That's
That's crazy.
Okay. So now I use this to determine how many people I have in Congress. Well, to do that and get my standard quota, I have to take each state population and I need to divide it by my standard divisor. Okay, so 1,646,000 divided by 50,000. How many seats in Congress does state A receive?
30. 33.
Leave it as a decimal.
32.9.
Okay, 32.92.
That's crazy.
My suggestion to you is do not round
Yeah.
smaller than 2 decimals.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it at least 2 decimals, if not 3. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
you will mess up your Hamilton method if you don't.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 32 seats, 32.92 seats in Congress. State B should be higher than that.
138.72.
138.72.
3.08.
3.08. That must be like Vermont.
Well, I'm wrong.
You have to say that.
Why not?
I know this viewers.
Croissant.
Croissant.
41.82.
41.82.
That's crazy.
13.7.
Yo, can you slow down?
Right.
Keep on going, bro. Keep on going.
I'm going too slow.
Nah, you going.
He's over there just.
19.67.
19.67.
7.
I got 7.
I got 7.6.
Sorry, my fault. Yeah, you just say no numbers.
Okay.
And is 250.
If you want to make sure that you did this right, when you add all these up, this should come out to be 250 or very, very close to. Okay.
That's crazy.
So
About 250.
the total of your standard quotas should equal the number of seats every time.
Bro.
Your total of your standard quotas should equal the number of seats.
The SWATs.
I'm gonna download Angry Birds.
The methods that we learn, we're actually gonna have to learn how to round these. Okay, so there's gonna be 3 different types of rounding. One of them is gonna be normal rounding, which is what you're used to. If it's 0.5 or above, you round up. If it's 0.4 or below, you leave it. So 32.92 rounds to
33.
33. 138.7.
3. 42.
That's 4.
14.
Wait, no, that's, oh no.
20.
14.
Can you slow down for a second, bro?
Okay, so that's normal rounding. You should be very much used to that.
No.
We've got 2 new concepts though.
Yes.
Yes, an upper quota and a lower quota.
Ooh.
Okay, upper quota. Rounding up the standard quota to the next nearest integer. No matter what the decimal is.
Oh.
So no longer are you looking at a decimal and saying, oh, it's 0.2, so I go down. I don't care if it's 0.03. You round that number up.
Always?
Always. So 45.6 is 46. 9.2 is 10. 17.5. Oh,
It wouldn't be what I'm not, it's not decimals, it's the same thing.
there is no decimal in the last one. So what do I do?
Keep it the same.
You keep it the same.
Yeah.
Hey.
The only thing that will not round up is a whole number. This is actually 96 on your paper.
Line to line.
Lower quota. Lower quota says rounding down the standard quota to the nearest integer. So in other words, drop the decimal
No matter what.
no matter what.
So that's,
I don't care if it's 0.99. You drop the decimal.
so it's just B35,
So 35.6 is just 35.
99, 16,
99.2,
99,
99, 16.5, 16. And again, you've got that special case. If it's a whole number, you leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Okay. So the only time it doesn't go up or down is if it is a whole number. Okay. Questions? Okay. They want us to find the upper quota and the lower quota for the standard quotas that we just found. So you're 32.92, you're 138.72. So state A had a standard quota of 32.92.
33,
So 33,
139.
139.
hold on, let's do upper and lower. So 33,
Oh, that's 32,
32,
139,
139, and 138.
Oh, sorry.
4,
4, and then 3.
3,
And then it was
42,
41,
41, 14, 13.
20.
and like
19.
You add that now?
Okay, add them up and give me some tokens.
See,
Whatever
about
I
that.
say.
Got it.
It's like right now.
252, I heard,
and 2.
and 246.
252 and 456. 246.
So, the methods that we're going to learn is, well, if I do this, how do I fix it? Because this total, when I do it, needs to be that 250, and we're not there. So that's what we're gonna learn. How do I fix it? Okay, answer me this. Will the lower and upper quotas ever be equal?
No.
No. Yes, because you're not saying anything.
Never. Never.
I'm gonna go with yes. Can you tell me why?
I'm gonna go with no, because you cannot. No, it can be, because for example, where is it? If it's, for whatchamacallit?
What'd you say? If you don't have any decimals at all.
If you don't have a decimal at all, then it
Okay,
just stays a
if
number.
every one of your standard quotas is a whole number,
I got it.
your upper and lower quotas are exactly the same. Okay, so this only happens with whole numbers as standard quotas. So when the standard quota are whole numbers. I want to do one more problem before we shut down.
No.
My God.
We're getting close.
I'm fine.
We got like 13 minutes.
No homework.
Okay, we're gonna jump to this one. I know. Tired, bruh. Me too. States, seats, population.
Exactly.
Okay, in this problem, who is getting? The students. Remember, your states are what's across the top, so your students. What are we giving the students?
Coupons.
Ooh.
No candy.
Bless you.
Dang. Why so low?
Okay, your candies will be apportioned. So that is what I'm giving away. Pay attention to those words. Based on what?
Coupon sold.
Coupon sold.
Coupons.
Coupons.
We're trying to sell the coupon.
Okay.
Me broke.
If you look though, in your chart this time, they didn't give you populations. They don't tell you this person sold this many coupons, this person sold this many coupons. They give you standard quotas. What do these numbers represent? What does 4.6 mean? 5.8.
Number of candies they got?
Number of candies they got. Okay?
For an interruption, teachers, all available classes, please take the time to vote today as many times as possible before leaving. We don't want to go to third place, and we're on the verge of hitting that low number. So please take the time to vote today.
Okay,
If
so
time allows.
when they give you the standard quota,
Great day.
okay, you have to be careful. You have to understand what they're telling you. Okay, so now in part B, they want the total number of candies that they're giving out. Well, how do I find that then?
Don't you tell
Add these up. Your standard quota is your candies. So 4.6, 5.8, 6.4, 7.2. How many candies are we giving out?
24.
24. Okay, what is the standard divisor for this situation? How do I get the standard divisor? What's my formula look like?
Wasn't it people population?
Total pop
Over
that's your standard quota.
no
They're asking for standard divisor.
total number.
Total number of seats.
Exactly.
Okay, so they want me to take my total population. Well, what's my population represent? Coupons sold. So how many coupons did I sell? 120. Divided by the number of seats. Well, my number of seats is how many candies I have.
24.
24.
24.
What's my standard divisor?
5.
5. So for every 5 coupons,
We got a candy.
you get a piece of candy. Okay. For every coupon you sell, every 5 coupons you sell, you get a piece of candy.
That's great.
Okay. Let's see what you do with the last one. What is the actual number of coupons that each individual sold?
Work backwards.
Okay, work backwards. So what do we do?
Times instead of divide.
We multiply.
Yeah.
Okay, so Buddy is getting 4.6 pieces of candy. Multiply it by your standard divisor. So 4.6 times 5. 23.
That's what I got.
Okay, he sold 23 coupons.
Oh.
He's terrible.
Okay, 5.8 times 5.
My boy Zach. Brian.
29. 6.4 times 5.
Trent Daniels.
32. And 7.2 times 5. Okay, 36. I'm gonna tell you right now, your quiz on Friday,
Can I do like this?
We got a quiz on this.
we'll have a question like this.
That's all the question.
All the questions, baby.
Okay. Listen, I know there are 2 more examples in this section. I do believe 2. Example 4 and the second example 5, because apparently I can't count. Okay, if you would like to do example 4 and example 5 on your own,
Do we get credit?
okay,
Extra credit?
I can do credit for it, okay?
I'm doing it.
But that will practice these habits of standard divisor, standard quota. Okay?
Say example 4 is that?
Yes,
Here's an example.
yeah. I did a double 5 by accident apparently, because I can't count.